I'm Spencer Petrick, and this is Farming Our Way. Today is January 1st, 2019. Happy New Year's, everyone. Gonna be showing you our how we feed our cattle and what we feed them, and all the different pens we have. Out here helping Dad with morning chores. Right now we're getting a cornstalk bale for our dry cows. Got the Gale 3510. Just about barely can lift that bale. Got our round bale in there. We use a Vermeer 605K. Twine wrap only, so we have to cut off all the string before we put it in there. You'd have to do that with net wrap too, but he's on the back side trying to spread it out in the bunk. They do waste some here, but we spread it back out on the field anyway, so it's no biggie there. They can pick through what they want. We give them 4 bales of alfalfa, small squares. It was first cutting, so they always push out a little bit anyways, even with small squares. Just trying to spread it out just so they can all eat at the bunk here. Otherwise, the big ones don't let the younger heifers in it. And this is our dry lot cows and heifers, ones that are going to be coming in within a month or so. We calve year round, so we have calves at odd times of the year. We just don't do it in the spring calving or fall calving. That's a little different than most. Corn stalks are pretty dry, besides the outside layer that they got a little rain and snow on them, but once you get to the inside, they fall apart pretty easy. We feed 1 corn stalk bale every day. Usually they have it pretty much gone or pushed out to what they want to eat. Here's our cow-calf pen. Couple month-old calves in here. The cows. You just got done feeding them corn silage from over there. Put them a little bit in the side bunk and throw some inside too, so they all can get to it. There's our corn stalk stash. We used to have 4 rows, down to 3 now. 1 pail of feed. 1 is tarped. Not that it loses much value, but it stays a little drier come springtime. And save that one for last. Also got a pile down there as well, corn stalks. Next, moving on to our big feeders. This is the last pen before we bring them up to sell them. Usually get around 1,400 pounds, 1,500. I'm sure people say that's not the right weight to sell them at, but that's what we like to do it, sell them. Little calves munching down on some hay. They got a separate pen and back if they want. They can get in and the cows can't, and that way we can feed them a little better hay and give them more silage, and then the cows don't eat it all right away. They get a chance to, they can eat it all day if they choose to. They usually don't go back there till later in the day when the cows push them out of in front here. pen back here is another pen. These are weaned calves, but aren't big enough to go into the feed pen yet. Kind of have a bunch of different groups around because we calve year round, but oh well. They get pretty much silage back here and one grass bale, small square, and then one small square alfalfa bale. There you go, I got the hay in there. I guess we ended up giving them 2 alfalfa bales. Kind of depends on how much is left in the bunk or what the weather's like. We kind of change it day to day. Normally they don't come over here till after they're done eating their silage. Usually they like that over this, but they're just checking it out. He has to make 3 separate trips in here, I believe. Give them 3 buckets of silage. We just feed them silage once in the morning. You give them hay morning and night. You got a little shelter here to get out of the wind as well. Here's one of the separate pens for the cow calves, so they can get away inside as well. Usually we have this little drier for them than the other pen, their cow's pen. Just so you watch the little ones a little closer, especially during the winter. They also have a separate pen outside that they can eat separate from the cows, and the cows can't get to it. Right there's where they go in, and then we feed them silage in that bunk, and also they get a little bit higher quality hay bale, about a 3rd bale. And usually, depending on how cold it is, like today, I don't know if he'll feed them outside because they won't eat it. They'll freeze and we'll have to just throw it out in the cows to finish out the frozen stuff. So we might just end up giving them a few slices of hay in there today. Got a partial wind block on the back side. Need to find some more tin and keep going with it. Put up 2 silage boxes there. That helps quite a bit for blocking the wind. I guess we do have our gravity wagons kind of backed into the grove to help, but yeah, we tried stacking our corn stalks 3 high. Had to use the loader. Skid loader can't go that high, of course, but I don't know if we'll do that next year. Doing it the row style, like over there, that seems to work good for us. Then we don't have to ever start the loader tractor up. We just need the skid loader. We would have liked to tarp a few more, but we only had tarp for 1 row of corn stalk bales, so that will do for us, I guess. This year we'll save some more tarp for next year. You're just cleaning a path out, pushing some snow out of the way. And last night or yesterday it blew pretty good. Got a few inches, but mainly blowing, and it was whiteout conditions. So, in these 2 bulk bins, we have corn screenings that we got this fall. We screen all of our corn that we put into our grain bins, and the screenings we fill in these 2 bins. We usually give these feeder pens about a bucket a day in the morning and then a bucket at night. Depends how many are in there and what size they are, but for now we're just giving them a bucket. Usually these screenings don't last us the whole year, and during the summer we'll end up grinding some shelled corn from the bins and throwing it in there with our grinder. We got a cow in the barn right now that Dad thinks is going to be having a calf soon, so we gotta get a pail of silage for her and bring it in there. So these are some of the screenings we got from our neighbor. We just pile it out here. The bins were full and we just wanted to dump it out and give them their wagon back, so we threw a tarp over it, and we normally feed out of this first before the bins, but there's snow around it right now and it's just easier to get a pail out of the bin than scoop it out of here. Sometimes he'll mix some of this in with our corn silage if he thinks they need a little more energy, protein. So there's one of them. There's about, I don't know, 35 bales in a row here. There's another bin we just got. We'll put it up by those, I'm sure. We just got it about 2 weeks ago, so we still have some of the neighbors' corn screenings on a wagon. That's a little bit better feed, not as many red bees wings in it, so it'll actually flow out of the bin good. And the last time we put some in, got clumped up. It was a little higher moisture corn screenings and molded some of the bin, and then we ended up having to clean the inside of the bins. It was stuck to the sides and that wasn't too fun, so that's why we just usually make a pile and put a tarp over it, and that's easy enough. Feed it out that way. So I'll get. So here's the cow in the barn. Just fed her a pail of silage. She was laying down, but got up. Got a little snow blowing through the door. We probably could pack in the sides a little better so it doesn't blow in, but she got straw. She's out of the wind. The other cows won't bug her when she has her calf, so got our water over there with the donut heater so it don't freeze. So that's it. She'll have that gone soon enough. It's a 5-gallon pail of silage. This is an old dairy barn set up. Just head stanchions. We took most of them out, but we filled in. Used to have a gutter cleaner in here, and we filled it in with gravel, and then we kept. That didn't work out too well, so we ended up pouring concrete and filling it in because we knew we would never use a gutter cleaner. All the chains were taken out and everything, so it was just a open pit and was kind of pointless. So we ended up concreting it over, and much easier getting the skid loader in here to clean it out. You're not always falling in the hole. That's why we made that door bigger, so the skid loader could get in to the barn and then we didn't have to pitch it. So she's got some hay. Just push it up closer for her to eat, and she can be picky about it. We can get 1, 2, 3, 6 pens in here, 6 cows if we have to, individual pens, and then we really need to, we can put one in the lane, but haven't had to do that. Then in the silo room, we could put one in here too if we had to, but there's not too much in here. We used to store corn screenings in this corner. There was a boxed in wall here, and fed pails out that door over here, and then into the pens. We had to climb over a fence and dump it in their bunk. So getting the bulk bins was really nice, and we don't have to put it in here. We always had spoilage. It wasn't always sealed tight in here, and it worked for the time being, but those bulk bins are so much easier to feed out of than putting it in here. Plus you can store a lot more in those bins. And so yeah, like I said, those bulk bins are super handy right where we need to feed it, and don't have to come into here. There's another door we can move the cows out of if we have to when we're taking them out of the barn, put them in different pens. So kind of shoot them through this silo room. Here's our silo. It's an old thing. Dad, when he milked cows back in the day with my grandpa, they didn't have an unloader on this, so they had to pitch everything out by hand, and he said it sucked. So there's no concrete floor, just, and I never saw it in use. I don't know, it's old. It'd be too much work to use it, and since we don't have a unloader in it, pitching it out would not be the best at all. So that's why we just make piles outside. We made one pile and we tarp it, and then we can do everything by using the skid loader. That's much easier than this